Hi foodies, let's get into this delicious pumpkin spice bread pudding. So of course you want to get your bread ready. You can cube it or crumble it into pieces. Then drizzle that melted butter all over the bread, and then you're just going to stir to combine everything. Whisk the eggs and the egg yolks together. Then you're going to be adding half and half and some evaporated milk as well. You don't need to use sweetened evaporated milk, just regular evaporated milk is fine. We're going to be adding sugar, and it could be white sugar if you want to, but I prefer brown sugar in this just because it's more flavorful. Then add some vanilla. Then we need to add the spices. If you can find pumpkin spice, go ahead and buy that. If not, you can use some ginger, freshly grated nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves. You can go ahead and add a little salt if you want to, especially if the butter is unsalted butter. Then the pumpkin puree. So this was purchased in a can. It has no flavors added, just pure pumpkin puree. We're going to go ahead and mix all of this together. If you're able to find some kind of, pumpkin Baileys or pumpkin spice Baileys or something chai flavored and you want to add it here, you could actually add that. But I'm just going to go ahead and mix this, and then we're going to be layering everything. So this is raisins soaked in Jamaican red label wine. You don't have to do that. You could soak them in like a pumpkin wine or pumpkin liqueur if you want to, or just leave out the alcohol altogether. This is my baking dish that I greased with butter. I'm just going to sprinkle the pieces of bread in there. Then you're going to sprinkle raisins all over, and then continue to layer. So bread, then raisins, bread, then raisins, and that's it until the whole thing is filled. If you want to, you could actually mix this with that milk and egg mixture, or you can do it this way. I'm just pouring off that liquid that the raisins were soaked in, and then we're going to pour the liquid with the evaporated milk and the eggs. All of those, just pour all over the bread. Make sure your oven is preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you're going to bake this for an hour to an hour and a half. After that, this is our delicious bread pudding, good to go. You can brush on some butter, you could brush on some honey or some maple syrup. I'm just going to brush on a little butter here. Of course, you don't have to do that. My bread pudding was baked for a little bit over an hour just because I like a very firm bread pudding. I do not like a very soft bread pudding. So if that's what you like, you can do an hour or less, but I usually go over an hour. The bread pudding is delicious as is, but it's even nicer with this maple butter sauce, okay? So put some maple syrup in a pan or a pot. Then you're going to add a little vanilla. Go ahead and add some heavy cream. Then you're going to add some butter. I'm using unsalted butter, so I will add a little salt to taste later on. Once the butter is stirred in, you can add a little salt, and then we're going to add a slurry to thicken this up. The slurry I'm using is heavy cream mixed with cornstarch. Add that while whisking just to avoid lumps. Then all you need to do is add some pumpkin spice to this if you want to, and let it simmer briefly until it is slightly thickened. When it cools down, it will be thick, so you don't have to wait on it to be very thick. Now let me show you what the inside of the bread pudding looks like. It looks very similar to my other bread pudding. However, it has those beautiful orange streaks, from the pumpkin, and the flavor is there. It is so good. You can have this bread pudding cold or warm, but it definitely is a little bit nicer when it is warm, and then you just drizzle that maple butter sauce all over, and of course add some vanilla ice cream. If you have no ice cream, you could just have it with the sauce, or you could even do some whipped cream. If you're a bread pudding lover, I guarantee you are gonna enjoy this. Of course, you can adjust things because you can leave out the raisins if you don't want that. But this pumpkin bread pudding, guys, it's so good. Give it a try. Remember to check the description box for the ingredient list. Thanks for watching. See you next time.